Welcome back once again for some more Legacy on the Boston Roll channel. Today you will see the bread and butter. This is Rug Delver. There is nothing fancy going on here. This deck is the best deck in Legacy. It has been one of the best decks in Legacy for close to 10 years at this point, since Innistrad came out and we got Delver of Secrets. Oko is a huge upgrade to the deck. Dreadhorde Arcanist is a huge upgrade to the deck. And it just keeps getting better as cards get printed. And there are a number of people calling for bans out of this deck. I think Dreadhorde Arcanist might be a bannable card in Legacy. A lot of people have their eyes on Oko. But for now, these cards are all legal, and they're all like pretty fair. It's just the shell they go into. Like, I don't think either of these cards are bannable on their surface, but given the context of the format, there might be more of a discussion to be had. However, at the moment, we have Rug Delver. If you're not familiar with the deck, the point is to get one of these cheap threats, 1 mana, 2 mana, 2 mana, 1 mana, these 1 or 2 mana bangers into play. Disrupt your opponent with cards like Daze and Wasteland, Spell Pierce, make sure their spells don't resolve. Force of Will, cost 0. All your spells in the deck cost 0 or 1, basically, except for Oko. And you want to play the deck on 1 or 2 lands, and you want to make your opponent do the same thing, and you're going to be better at it because your deck is made to play that way, and theirs probably isn't. So that's Rug Delver. That's how this deck works. And there's a lot of little decisions to be made. A lot of matches with Rug Delver are won or lost on the razor's edge, where it's like, did you ponder perfectly? Did you brainstorm perfectly? Did you hold up Spell Pierce on exactly the one turn where you needed to do it? Like, there's a lot of, like, did you bolt a creature too early when you could have bolted their face for lethal later? Like, those sort of decisions that are going to win or lose you a game with a Delver deck. And let's get into it. You'll see that bear out. I don't feel like there's a lot to say. If you're not familiar with Rug Delver, you must be new to Legacy, and that's okay if you are. But this is something you're going to need to know. The one interesting thing going on here, I'm trying Magmatic Channeler. This is a brand new card from Zendikar Rising. It's a 1/3 human wizard for a red and 1. As long as there are 4 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, it gets +3/+1. So it's a 4/4 if you have 4 instant or sorceries in your graveyard. And then you can tap it, discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You can choose one of them to play this turn. So on the surface, it's a 2 mana, likely to be a 4/4. So better rate than Nimble Mongoose and activates more easily. The tap discard ability is pretty cool in a mid or late game situation. Delver, the way Delver loses if it runs out of threats. If your opponent can answer your threats and then they start to stabilize, pull ahead on resources, that's how you lose. Magmatic Channeler gets to dig for threats in that mid game. Turn an extra polluted delta into an extra Delver. It is a pretty good deal. I am a little worried that Dreadhorde Arcanist, Magmatic Channeler, and Hooting Mandrills all rely on the graveyard to function. So there's like something like a Rest in Peace would make it so Delver and Oko have to win the game by themselves, which like is possible to do. I'm certainly not saying that's an unbeatable proposition, but that does expose us pretty hard, though. Magmatic Channeler is in the slot that would have been occupied by Tarmogoyf, which also cares about the graveyard. So I guess we're not really losing much compared to a normal Rug Delver list without Channeler. Channeler is actually a lot better than Tarmogoyf if there's a Rest in Peace in play. So maybe it's an upgrade. We're going to find out. I've never played with this card before. So let's see how this all works out. Let's get into the matches. All right, we're on the draw for round 1. Clearly this is a mulligan. The deck only plays 19 lands, so you usually keep a hand with 1 land. Like, look at this hand. Delver, Brainstorm, Ponder, Spell Pierce, Daze. This would be great if any one of these cards was at random a land, but it's not. You do have to have lands in your opener. All right, we found some lands. I think I want to bottom Chain Lightning here, because that'll leave me with a threat 2 lands and force blue card. If they turn out to be like elves, I'm gonna wish I had 2 lightning bolts instead of 2 lands. But I do like stability. I don't like keeping hands that die to a single wasteland if I can avoid it, though we are going to be keeping some of those over the course of this league because that is just how this works. All right. Could be a mirror, could be a combo deck. If it is the mirror, then we're going to have... All right, we're all set on lands now. If this is the mirror, I do wish we had Chain Lightning instead of Force of Will in hand. Force of Will is not a good card in the mirror. Ooh, all right. So this is cool. If they fight over this daze, then we can bolt the Arcanist, and if they don't fight over daze, then we just daze their Arcanist. All right. Okay. I am now, in retrospect, regretting bottoming Chain Lightning, but we couldn't have known. You can't live in regret on this sort of thing. All right, there's that. I'll bolt that. I'm gonna play around daze to do it. So Scalding Tarn, do not reveal, and we can fetch before we draw it. All right, Oko's pretty good. So now there's a little push and pull here. If I bolt now, I can attack, but that plays into Force of Negation, and if they have Spell Pierce, they can do it without using their own mana. Like they can just Spell Pierce, untap, have all their mana available. I think I am just going to bolt now, though. Like they have to have a Force or Spell Pierce in this spot. And if they don't, then I have Oko next turn. I really wish this Delver flipped at any point, though. Having a 3-2 to fight their 1-3 is a good place to start. I wonder if this pause is them deciding if they want to force that. Okay. That's pretty much the best possible outcome, because now I get my attack in as well. Okay. Bolted. Alright, so by not flipping, we didn't actually lose anything. If they slam Oko here, that sucks. I think I have to Force of Will. Because, like, even if I want to get into an Oko fight with them, which I don't, like, they could waste and take me off Oko. So we're kind of settling into the spot that a lot of Delver mirrors get to, where both players have pretty low resources, and whoever sticks the first threat is going to win. Shit. That's a good one. So I think Magmatic Channeler is what I kind of want to find here. This Hooter is good. These are all... I guess I can kill Oko. Or, yes, I have exactly enough. Drop Volcanic Islands in my deck to kill Oko here. I am dead to a daze. Like, so dead. I'll be hellbent against an Oko, and I will have discarded a lightning bolt for no reason. And even if they don't have daze, even if this works, I'm still in trouble because they have 2 cards in their hand to my 0. And I am going to fire these off on my turn. I get to play around Spell Pierce. I can't play around Daze regardless. Force of Negation could get me. Alright, they had Force of Will left over. That's better than Daze, but not by much. Okay, and they just ran another threat off the top, so we're definitely dead here. Alright, needed that last turn. Okay, that's what the Rug Mirror looks like a lot of the time. Force of Negation gets boarded straight out. I'm interested in Submerge, Pyroblast, probably Sylvan Library, and Abrade can also kill Delver and Dreadhorde Arcanist. I don't think I need the rest of this stuff. Like, Klothys could be really good, but I don't know how much I'm boarding out for it. So on the play, I'm a big fan of Daze over any number of forces. On the draw, I might switch those numbers around a bit. I could bring in the third Red Elemental Blast. That deals with Delver and Oko, but really that's it. Like, it doesn't deal with Arcanist, Channeler, or Tarmogoyf Hootie. And Oko is very important though. So that is a close call. Basically the decision here is, do I want to play in a way where to maximize my answers to their threats, or do I want to walk the tightrope of having just enough answers that my threats can take over? Like on the play, I want to push the Razor's Edge. On the draw, I'll be more careful. This hand doesn't have a threat in it. It does have a lot of answers though. And Double Wasteland is worthy of respect in this mirror. Like if they play a Delver, I can waste them and then bolt Delver, and they can't daze it because they don't have a land. Alright, Submerge is pretty hot. Alright, so I'm going to waste that. Then I'm going to let them get to their upkeep before I make any plays. They might reveal something here that gives me a little extra information. And it plays around Force of Negation. Alright, so they're playing into the second Wasteland here. Oh, and they fetched the Trop, so that turns on Submerge, so I can waste and then, or I can't waste and Submerge, unfortunately. I have to Submerge first. But that plays around Daze anyway, because my land is up. Alright, so we've done a good job controlling the early turns. Now I gotta present a threat. Alright, we have a win condition. Fiery Islet. I'm gonna blast the Delver, because with them being down so many lands, and my handful of counterspells, I'm not super worried about Oko being in play. And Bolt is better in this sort of situation. Do I even care about that? I don't think so. So it makes Arcanist worse. It makes Channeler worse. Yeah, I don't care. I just don't think this is what this game is going to be about. I don't play Tarmogoyf. Threat? Yeah, so like I said in the intro and during sideboarding, Delver loses when it can't stick a threat. I have not even drawn a threat. I think I will mess with this, though. All right, we're in business, team. We have fetch lands if we don't like what we see off Delver. They had to pop their relic. That basically didn't do anything. Yes, I would like to reveal days, and I do want to draw it. It's kind of awkward that I already had one. So like now they know to play around days, but they probably won't play around two. So if they have a bolt or something, they probably want to do it on my turn. I am going to brainstorm now. All right, so several. I don't need all these dazes. Actually, maybe I do. Maybe I just want to. I'll put back one of them. And I'll put back this brainstorm. Let's see, do they have Stifle in their deck? All right, so the second Delver puts lethal on board with this Lightning Bolt. Fiery Islet also. Okay, and they're just dead. All right, we were able to control the early turns well enough to find a threat eventually. That doesn't always work out, but it did this time. So on the draw, I think I want the red Elemental Blast just as an additional answer to a resolved Oko or resolved Delver. So what is the cut for that? On the draw, I think you're more likely to settle into a control role. Sylvan Library being a 2-mana thing that doesn't impact the board immediately is kind of a clunker, but it's also just like completely mirror breaking. They showed me Relic, so maybe I want less Hooties. Like Hootie is the one that just doesn't function at all if I don't have a graveyard. Though it also dances around Relic pretty well. Oh, right. I should be messing with my days numbers. I want some number of Force of Will in on the draw too, because I'll have an extra card to work with over them. So force pitching a card just gets me back down to card parity, rather than having me -2 cards when I'm on the play. And days is a lot worse in that position. All right, I think I like this mix. All my threats are still in. All right, a bunch of lands is not bad on the draw. I'm going to keep this. Because a big part of what won us last game is that double wasteland. And we have an answer to a Delver. All right, they led on Ponder. It's always such a sigh of relief when your Delver opponent leads on Ponder instead of Delver. They mulled to 6 and then chose to shuffle off the Ponder. That's all good news. I'm going to make the safer land drop right now rather than play Preordain. Okay, so I can play, I could just shove into Stifle, but I don't need to do that. I'm just going to play Volcanic Island and pass. We'll get a peek during their upkeep off Delver. And I have Bolt and Reb to answer it. Alright, so them drawing Ponder doesn't really change any math, unless that was like a blue card to pitch. Alright, that worked. It's good news. I'm going to save this red Elemental Blast for Oko or Delver. That's all I want. Okay, there's Delver. Alright, so let's do some maths here. If I red blast this, that's one card in the graveyard. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can red blast and cast Hootie. I could red blast Preordain and cast Hootie. I think I'm gonna start with the. I could also just shove Oko. I think I want to hold on to the red blast. Because answering Oko is going to be more important than these other options. All right, I'm going to fetch a Trop and a Volk. I'm fetching first because I have Preordains. If these were Brainstorms or Ponders, I would cantrip first. Do I want this Brainstorm? I'll find that later. I don't think I need to answer this Delver right away, so I could Preordain again. Though they have showed me Graveyard Hate in their deck. I could just jam the Hootie and demand a Daze. If I'm jamming Hootie, I should Preordain though. Or, yeah, Preordain. I fetched, so I should Preordain. Okay. Bottom, top. Let's Submerge Delver. Sucks we didn't find the Submerge a little earlier, because then we could have played around Daze, played Hootie around Daze. If they force this, we're just in business, but that would be hyper aggressive. Okay. So Delver is on top. And I think I just want to ponder now. Like I've done all this work. Brainstorm, Dreadhorde, Arcanist, land. Yeah, I want all that. So next turn, even if they wasteland me, I can go Hootie and Dreadhorde. And they just drew Delver. We know that, because I put it there. I'm going to lead on Arcanist, and then follow up with Hootie. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can leave Cantrip and Bolt, or double Cantrip, in the graveyard for Arcanist. I think I want to leave double Cantrip. And we're holding up Red Blast for Oko or the Delver if we need to, though at this point I'm so far ahead on board that I don't even really care about Delver. That's fine. And another Delver. Okay. Not a big deal. All right, so we're behind in the race again. It's probably time to jam Oko. So I can hold this land as Brainstorm fodder, or I can play Oko with Red Blast and Protection from Daze Up. I think I should just play the Oko and hold the land back. All right, Oko's in. So I'm actually going to play the land out now. Obviously, I didn't do enough thinking before I played it, or else I just would have done it. But I'm going to Red Blast a Delver now while they're tapped out. So now, even if Delver flips, it can't kill Oko. It would have to flip Revealing Lightning Bolt. All right, that didn't happen. Probably going to cast the Roan Oko here. All right, and they realize that even if they have Oko, they're way behind what I'm presenting. So there's the Rug Delver Mirror, folks. Don't die, and then present threats of your own, and play around days where you can. Just dancing around whatever soft permission you can is the important part. All right, next match. All right, we won the die roll. That's where you want to be with Delver. I'm going to keep this. We have the Channeler for the first time. Let's see how that plays. We have 0 mana disruption too. It is the worst 0 mana disruption, but it's nice that it can pitch to itself. Ooh, if they're a Snow Island deck, we might not even need it. I'm going to get Channeler into play and then worry about this Brainstorm later. All right, first appearance of Magmatic Channeler. Let's see if this card's any good. I'd be pretty excited to discard some of these extra lands to it. Like, there's a good chance we're playing... Yeah, if they have Prismatic Vista in their deck, then Wasteland's probably not a very good card. So you can cash that in for a spell. That sounds pretty great, honestly. All right, discard a card. Exile my top 2 cards. I can play one this turn. That was sweet. Yeah, here's a Delver, and I exiled a Daze. That wasn't very good. Okay, that was really good. I'm starting to fall in love. All right, there's Coatl. They could still be Show and Tell or Snoko. All right, they're not Show and Tell anymore. I don't think. Oh, respect. Yeah, they realized that card was going to bury them. Icefang Coatl is a beating, though. It's genuine beating. Baleful Strix was always the bane of Delver decks past, and Coatl is the same card with Flash. So I don't think these Force Negations are what I want to be doing anymore. Maybe I should keep one of them in the land and put back the land. Yeah, that sounds right. I forgot what order I put them back. This is so embarrassing. Whoops. I forgot to think about my Delver. Yeah, I could have flipped Delver for sure, but instead we're gonna fetch in the upkeep. Am I punished? I deserve to be. No, don't reveal my shame. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can play Hootie and hold up Hardcast Force of Negation, or I can play Delver and Hootie. That sounds great. And I can save the Wasteland to get Brainstormed away. So I could have played around Force of Will by playing the Wasteland out, but I don't think that's very good here. I can also just ram this Delver in, but with Brainstorm, I think that we have good odds to find a removal spell for the Quaddle, and then the damage is going to hit so much harder. Swords to Plowshares. That's fine. I have 3 threats in play. I'm not going to force that and then just lose to Oko. All right, Uro. Here comes this jerk. All right, they can bring back Uro next turn. All right, I'm not going to aggressively Brainstorm to flip my Delvers. I rarely will use Delver that aggressively in these matchups. Or will use Brainstorm that aggressively. My opponent's at 22. They have a way to trade off. That's just not really what I'm in the market for. I am in the market for answering this Uro, though. So what do I have in the main deck that can do that? It's basically Oko and Force of Will. All right, I'm gonna Brainstorm now. See if we can turn this Wasteland into something more useful. So they actually can't Uro next turn because they have so many basic lands. Like without an Astrolabe, they don't have green, green, blue, blue. All right, so Daze can leave the hand, and it's either Wasteland or Force of Negation. So I think I want the Force of Negation just as negate. All right, I'll put back Wasteland and Daze. So Daze is on top, folks. I am paying attention this time. And here's Delver number 3. So I'm positioning to bring the beats. That's my plan. We'll see if it works. So I flip the 3 Delvers next turn, revealing Daze, shuffle before I have to draw the Daze, and then I'm just gonna bash through the Quaddle. Let's math this out. So if I flip 3 Delvers next turn and attack, they take 6 total. If I attack with these now and they trade off, then they take 7 total. So I should attack now. I should have attacked before I played the 3rd Delver. But unless I draw one of my 5 lightning bolts, attacking this way will be better. And I don't have to worry about escape count for Uro because they already have the 5th card here. Yep, there's that trade. So if they have a, oh, there's Astrolabe. That I'm not going to force will Astrolabe. As much as I think that's like kind of defensible in this spot. So now they can cast Uro, which I will force of will. I'm trying to think if it's weird that they left up basic planes instead of Caracas. This doesn't get wasted. And they don't really need to activate Caracas because I don't play white. So I guess that's fine. I don't need to be too suspicious about it. So flip the Delvers, shuffle away the days, and start bringing the beats. They found a brainstorm before I did. That's bad. And that's card number 2 of 5 for the Uro to come back again. That's card number 3. Oh god. Alright, I've lost. I basically need Oko off the top right now. Oh, I was talking about me, not you. Okay, I'm gonna take one more draw step and then die. Okay. Yeah, these big control decks, I generally like that side of the matchup against Delver more than this side. But that's what the sideboard is for. I don't think I want surgical extraction. Submerge is actually kind of funny, but I don't think we're going to have enough space to cut for that. So force of negation, not so interested. I don't need all 4 force of wills. They're playing pretty fair. I probably want like 2. And basically only for wrath effects. Being on the play, Daze is pretty good, but in general in the matchup, Daze is pretty bad. I don't think we need all 5 lightning bolts. Other than the Coatl, there's nothing to really hit with that. So I gotta cut 2 more cards here. Or maybe I don't need both relics. Yeah, if I have Clothis, 1 relic, and 3 Pyroblast, that's enough for Uro. And 1 more card's gotta go. So they can't really play like Rest in Peace style Graveyard Hate because they're an Uro deck. So that's something of a relief. Clothis is one of the best cards against them in the matchup. Oko's real good. Spell Pierce is pretty good. It might be a Hooter. Like, they don't have lightning bolts. All of their removal is just going to kill my shit. So the 4 toughness matters less here than it would in other places. Alright, I'm going to play this. I probably could have boarded out a Wasteland, actually, instead of a spell. Alright, so this has one of my best cards, but also a whole lot of nothing. So I'm going to ship this. This hand is worse. The same, but worse. Alright, let's find a threat, maybe? Okay, this hand's actually great. Oko and Lightning Bolt can go to the bottom. I should specify this hand is great for a 5-card hand. Winter Orb can win this matchup on its own. Let's see what they got for me. Yeah, Astrolabe is the regular start for this deck. Let's flip. Give me a little bit of luck here. A little bit of fortune. Flooded Strand is not a flip. You dick. So I can brainstorm now, or I can try to stick this Winter Orb while the shields are down. I'm gonna jam the orb. And it's a little awkward in this position because it's not doing anything to them yet, but this is eventually a must answer. Like, their deck does not function with this card in play. Though playing it proactively like this means that, like, I would prefer to have them like tap out to evoke an Uro and then like just lock down 2 or 3 lands with this. But even if they see it coming, it's still a huge problem for them. And I have Delver in play already. Though I would not fault anyone for brainstorming there instead. All right, so we got to watch out for Coatl. All right, I've drawn enough lands. I am now convinced that there's plenty. So I'm just going to attack. If they have Coatl, it's going to lock down their lands for a couple turns. It looks like Abrupt Decay for Winter Orb. All right. And that's the argument for waiting on Winter Orb. All right, so I want to leave a spell on top for Delver. Okay, so I have Force Blue card and a spell on top for Delver. This is not particularly thrilling with them at 17 with 6 cards in hand. But this is as well as I could set it up for this 5-card hand we're playing with. Also important to note that running the Winter Orb out baited the Abrupt Decay on Winter Orb and left Delver in play. And on this 5-card hand, I'm nowhere near having a second threat. Like, my next 2 cards down are Pyroblast land, so I'd have to do a lot of work to find another threat. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Second Astrolabe. So they could Swords to Plowshares here. That seems likely. Like, what are they doing for 1 mana? It's either another Astrolabe or a removal spell. Or they were playing around Stifle, I guess. That's a thing you can do. Okay, I don't like this. So they played straight into Spell Pierce when they didn't have to. I think they're going to get rewarded for it. Well, not rewarded, it just doesn't matter. But they played into a lot of stuff they didn't have to here. All right, so I think I'm going to let that go. Like, they have scary enough stuff in their deck. My next card down, I'm going to draw Pyroblast, then my next card down is a land. I think I'm just going to pass and draw that land. Because if I preordain... No, I am going to preordain. Because if I preordain, I can't force blue card anymore, but like, what am I looking for on a force anyway? Or, like what are they going to do next turn that I have to force specifically? Like, I have Pyroblast for Oko, which is their best play here. Okay, that was also a good play. So maybe I do force that. Yeah, I can't actually beat that card, so I'll force it. You can ignore library when you have a clock. When you don't, it's not an option. So now they have me hellbent, and the Oko or Uro that they stick next turn can just win the game. So I need to produce a threat immediately. All right, that's a small relief. That does counter Oko or Uro. It's not a threat though, and every turn I'm not attacking, they're winning. They are the answer deck. I'm supposed to be the question deck. I have way too many answers, and I only had the one question this game. Yep. I could hold this, try to get a little value, like take one more draw step. So I can hold up Red Blast this turn and cast Arcanist with protection next turn. I don't think that's worth doing though, because most of their answers for Arcanist aren't blue. Like if they stick Oko this turn, that sucks, but I can blast it. But like I can't protect from Plow or Abrupt Decay anyway, or Dead of Winter. Like I can blast that next turn before I have to block, or before it gets to block. I could even use the one in my graveyard to do it. Yep. The whole boat is here. Okay. Yeah, we're seeing why Snoko is such a great deck. It just has all these answers, and like Snoko faded off the map. Snoko was like the best deck in Legacy for a while. Then it faded off the map, like combo decks just beat it into the ground. Then Rug Delver showed up and started eating up the combo decks, and now Snoko is back because it beats up on Rug Delver so well. So metagame at work here. I'm drawing Preordain, and Ponder is right under it. So I guess I should Preordain first to see if I find a Spell Pierce. All right, Channeler is not bad. Yeah, I'll take both of these. Kill Oko. I don't think there's anything they can do with one card in hand about Oko. And I'll Ponder now. I want the Channeler, and then... Okay, so if they brick for a couple turns, we have a 4/4 that draws extra cards. I guess it doesn't draw cards, it filters cards. That card, however, is not one I can reasonably beat. So I guess I play my Channeler, and then I Ponder, looking for Red Blast, the third and final Red Blast. So maybe I should Ponder first, because then if I find Relic, I can pop their graveyard, but also mine. Okay. Or I could find Dreadhorde Arcanist, which does, in fact, kill Uro with the Pyroblast from my graveyard. Assuming none of the 4 cards they're going to have by then can answer this Arcanist. If they kill this right now, then I will concede. As I'm on a 2-turn clock, and we know what's going to happen on my next 2 turns, and it doesn't answer what's going on over there. But if these 2 cards and the 2 they draw from Draw Step and Uro are bricks, white mana is bad, and we're dead. Alright, got completely controlled by the deck that is built to beat up on my deck, so no hard feelings there. Alright, we're on the draw against an unknown opponent. I am actually going to keep this hand. There are matchups where this hand is absolutely horrendous, and there are matchups where this is the best hand imaginable. And because of Brainstorm, we get to keep it, because Brainstorm will just fix it if it's the wrong side of the spectrum. Alright, so is this another mirror match? It could happen. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay, so I'm gonna daze this. Which is gonna set us pretty far behind on lands. I'm just gonna waste them also. Like if they force back here or double daze me. Force of Will is not getting any better in this matchup than countering a Dreadhorde Arcanist. Do I want to use my Brainstorm or not? I think I don't. Because I'm just going to Wasteland anyway, and I want to get some value out of that thing before it's gone. Most of the threats in Rug Delver these days are red. There was a time where you would hit the green first because the creatures that actually kill you are green, but that's just not true right now. All right, please don't have Stifle. All right, we are over the hump, and they've missed another land drop. You love to see it. All right, the path is now forward. Oh, hooties. So I can Brainstorm and then hoot. I don't need 2 Okos, and I can bottom this other volcanic island. So they have to have Force of Will. Like Force of Negation isn't good enough, and they have no lands to daze with. I guess I should have exiled Misty Rainforest instead of Force of Will. I was thinking about Dreadhorde Arcanist, but I should have been thinking about Channeler also. Alright, that missed its chance to matter. Like, I'm not even going to cast Oko here. I'm just going to pile this on. Yeah, there's not really a punish for this in the Rug Mirror. Like, there's no Supreme Verdict, and obviously they're just thousands of lands away from doing anything. Like, there's no Terminus they can flip. Once you get a little window like this, just push it. And even if they have their own Hooting Mandrills, which is pretty much the best card they could have here, I have Oko. Daze is online now, though. I would rather Ponder than Brainstorm. Though if I Brainstorm and hit a land, I can play Oko and play around Daze. Alright, so I am just going to attack and Brainstorm. I think if they were gonna Wasteland me, it would have happened by now. Alright, there's a bonus Oko again. Just play around Daze because I can. If this resolves, I'm going to also preordain. If they want to Daze my preordain and set themselves back a land when they're already this far behind, I'm okay with that. Force of Negation doesn't matter. But I do like cantrips. Alright, so they're dead next turn. And they're dead. Alright, so Rug Mirror again. We're on the draw, so I like leaving in 2 forces. So the Submerges come in. All 3 Red Blasts when I'm on the draw. I think I liked doing that last time. A Braid kills the things we need it to. I could have the 1 Relic. I don't even know if I like Relic. Could also have Clothis. Don't know if I like that either. But these are options up here. Clothis, Library, and Relic are all certainly things I could put in the deck. Force of Negation, bad, bad, bad. Can cut some number of dazes. Do I want to cut that many dazes? So I'm cutting 6 counterspells basically for 6 answers, onboard answers. And I think that's fine. It's a good place to be. Do I want 1 Relic? And if so, what am I bringing in? I don't think I do. Like, Spell Pierce is the last card I think is particularly cuttable here. But I'm not going to do that. Sand is fine. Alright, so just going to ponder. Can't play around Wasteland. They didn't give me anything to Wasteland. There's not really any decisions to make here. I do want that Daze on top. I also like that green source underneath it. My hand is pretty well suited to play a more controlling game. And I have this Oko just looming. I don't really want that Force of Will that's under the fetch land, so I'm probably going to fetch next turn. Alright, that makes it very easy to do that. Yeah, I'm going to fetch and ponder. If they have double Wasteland, it's fine, but I am working towards something here. I have 2 Hooties in my deck. I have 4 cards in my graveyard. Arcanist. Okay, so now we have... Alright, now I have a real path to a real threat. So I am going to keep this Force of Will and I want to fight over this Arcanist. I don't want to fight over their Arcanist, though. Tarmogoyf. 2/3 Tarmogoyf. There's not an instant. I guess I probably have to daze this thing. I could Oko it eventually, but I think I'd rather just it not be in play at all. So they daze me back. I'm going to force pitching Oko, because now that I've dazed, I'm so far away from Oko. And I can just waste them down to nothing. Though I'm more worried about their red source. Now let's play in the mud together. Alright, we're in the mud. I'm going to play the Trop because I need the Valk to cast this Arcanist. And if they have another Wasteland, I want to make sure red is what's left standing. Alright, they had another Wasteland. And we know one of their hands is still one of the cards in their hand is still Volcanic Island. Okay, this is perfect. So now we have a fetch land that can hide from Wasteland, and we have Force Blue card to back up our Dreadhorde Arcanist. My top card is a Braid if they have an Arcanist of their own this turn. And they've wasted one of each land, so we still have 2 of each left. Sometimes it gets dicey when they've wasted 2 Volcanic Islands and you only have 1 left, but we can pretty much jam with impunity at this point. They did not shuffle, and they found Delver. So I do want to draw the Abrade, because I want to answer this Delver eventually. It would be super lame if they have days here. Okay, cool. I'm going to Force of Will any answer they present on this Arcanist. Like if they bolt it, I'll just force that. Because this is exactly what you want to fight over. This is the game breaker right here. If I get 1 attack with this, I'm going to start running away with the game. Right, it looks like they're going for Oko. Or they're just playing around days with a Braid. Oh no. Alright, so I'm going to go for the Force. Even if they can fight back, oh, they couldn't, that's great. Alright, we should be able to win pretty easily from here. Oh wow, that's even better. Alright, deny their red sources. I'm going to Ponder out of my graveyard, not Brainstorm, because Ponder sees more cards when I can't shuffle. Okay. Yeah, that's insane. So I can stick my Delver. I have multiple answers to their Delver. And I can go face. Delver's going to flip, or my Delver's going to flip. There's my 2. I think if this Delver doesn't flip, they might just concede. So they're going to be so far behind. Interesting. I am going to counter that. They have shown me their hand isn't good, and they didn't draw a spell this turn. You should attack. They didn't attack. All right. And that Delver's not going to block, and mine is going to flip here. So I would have attacked there. Let's ponder again. I guess if they think they can still win with this Delver, then maybe not attacking there is fine. Like if they attack and I block and they lose their threat and they're just completely out of gas, that's a defensible reason not to attack. I do like taking the Wasteland there, because drawing lands isn't bad for me at this point. And seeing like land underneath, I can fetch it, like I have Brainstorm in my graveyard. That's gonna go great with that fetch land. Important to note, if Brainstorm was just in my hand right now, I wouldn't cast it, but because it's coming out of the graveyard for free, I think it's a really good card to cast. Yeah, so this has been a showcase on how messed up Dreadhorde Arcanist is. But so they're going to 9. All right, I'm going to leave the bolt on top, cast my third Delver, or second Delver, third threat. Still holding multiple answers, and they are very dead on board. Yep, and they've scooped it up. Another rug mirror in the books. All right, we're on the play in round 4. This hand's a keep. Having Daze on the play is always great. This hand's a little susceptible to Wasteland. I'm going to ponder looking for the second land. But like on the play, we have Ponder into Dreadhorde Arcanist with Daze backup. Just seeing like 2 lands in this Ponder would be a big relief. Uh-oh. I should have been more specific. I am not going to shuffle my library and just pray to every deity there is that they are not a Wasteland deck. Ooh. Sweet relief. I guess if they Thoughtseize me, that's almost as bad. No, that's not even true, because I have Delver on top. Like, if they Thoughtseize me, I'll just waste their Bayou and cast Delver. Noble Hierarch. Okay. That makes Daze a whole lot worse. Alright, so I'm getting Arcanist into play right now while the getting's good. Maybe that was bad. I could have wasted and bolted them, and that would have put them back in the Stone Age. I might have gotten a little too excited there. Alright. Bummer. Yeah, I probably should have waste bolted and then just followed up with the Arcanist. Though they played that. Oh no, they didn't play that backwards. They couldn't cast the plow if they played Thalia first, obviously. Duh, Brian. Alright, so now I'm going to make the waste bolt play. I would prefer to be on board with a threat, but what they've presented so far, like this basic plains in their 3 or 4 color deck. I was going to say a fetch land is the best draw, because then we get to Brainstorm and cast Delver. Oh, that's a lot of lightning bolts against a Maverick style deck. I think I actually had to put one back. There's just so many. Like, it's not better than Brainstorm. And I am going to fetch another Valk here. My hand is just so red heavy that I'd rather be able to cast the spells I know I have than worry about what if I top deck a green card. Alright, there's Thalia. If this Delver flips, we're going to be way ahead. If it doesn't, we're going to have to make more difficult decisions. Oko, come on. So I think I'm just going to pass. Like, Thalia is something I want to destroy eventually, but I can take a 2 damage hit from Thalia, worry about it later. Like, if I bolt on my own turn just to push 1 damage through, I'm also still winning the race here. Like, if Delver flips next turn, I would really like these bolts to pick off cards that are actually going to kill me. Though if they cast Knight of the Reliquary here, I'm in lots of trouble. Shit. There it is. So I guess I can bolt Thalia here and just hope I top deck a green source. So green land or spell are both good here. There's days right on time. Just what I was looking for. All right, Force Negation's a very bad card. Actually, this is all just horrendous because it means that none of this is gonna matter. Like, I'm Brainstorm locked against a 5/5 right now. And they can start knighting away planes for wastelands and just lock me out. So I can do 6 and 6 and 3, and that is lethal. So they are dead in 3 turns. And they've seen the days, unfortunately, so they're unlikely to just jam into it. I would hope, for their sake. Oh no. Alright, so that can make Delver smaller. So they're at 14. I'm at 18. If I do 5, 5, and 2, they're not dead. If I do 3, 6, and 3, they are also not dead. But it does take a turn off the clock if I bolt their engineer, because I'm dead in 2 turns with engineer. I'm dead in 3 turns without it. I guess I stacked this wrong. I should have Force of Negation in my hand right now instead of this Oko. Because Force could actually hit a Zenith and do something relevant, or a Plow. But this Oko is just completely wasted. Speaking of wasted. So they can waste all of my lands this turn. Yeah, and then they don't even have to play around days. I guess they still do, at least during their main phase. Yeah, Knight of the Reliquary. Show some respect. Or I can bolt them, daze my bolt, and pay for days. Alright, that's a line. I'm drawing Force of Negation this turn, though. Oh god, do you have Abrupt Decay also? Alright, yeah, we're dead. Yeah, there's no way out of this one. Yeah, that turn they had Knight, I was for sure just dead. Alright, Submerge is about as good as it gets here. Force of Negation is about as bad as it gets. Relic is pretty good. Rough Tumble is pretty good too. Rough Tumble, a Braid, Sylvan Library. I can see Klothys being good in a matchup like this too. So, and I probably want one Relic just to shrink Knights if I miss my window. All right, on the play I like Daze. I will like Force of Will more on the draw. Spell Pierce real bad. I don't like Daze that much, but it's pretty good. So I gotta cut one more card here. Lightning bolts are pretty much the best thing I got going on. Delver's great. All my threats are great. Oko is one of my few answers to a Resolve Knight of the Reliquary. It might just be Hoots. I think Hoots is my worst threat. Alright, let's do it. This hand's a keep. I have a Delver and a Bolt. If they go for that Bayou Noble Hierarch start again, I'm gonna shred them. Alright, it's not a Bayou. They know what they're doing over there. Flip. Flip. Have we flipped a Blind Delver once yet this game? Or this match? This league? I'm going to brainstorm now. There's plenty of action to get in on. And I am going to bolt the bird. If they fetch this basic forest in their 3-color deck, I want to punish that where I can. That's pretty good. That's fine. Flip. We flipped a Delver. We did it. It can be done. All right, Dreadhorde Arcanist, go. They're approaching the point where they're going to be able to cast spells that are bigger than what I'm able to produce. I have to present threats that are like, if they spend mana this turn plowing instead of casting a 3-drop, that's good for me. All right, a wastable land. I'll take that. Ooh, and they didn't even have Thalia. All right, so I'm going to play Wasteland now, and I'm going to put a stop in End of Combat. So I'm going to attack, deal my 3 damage, and then before we leave the combat stage, I'm going to... Oh. Or they're just going to play that and block easily. All right, that doesn't change anything. So I was putting the stop in End of Combat so they couldn't float white and plow my Dreadhorde Arcanist second main. Yeah, Scrib Ranger is good at blocking Delver. That is definitely true. Don't have to stop there anymore. All right, do you have another plow? I hope not. They do have 4 mana to work with, though. This combo, tap, tap, bounce, untap, tap, tap. That's a lot of mana with very few permanents. A lightning bolt to clear this noble hierarch would make me feel a lot better. Jeez. Okay, they have 5 mana now. This is a Zenith. Looks like for 3. So if that gets Scavenging Ooze, but then they overpaid, it got Knight. Okay. You're saying there's a chance. So they can still untap this Hierarch with Scrib Ranger. So they do have a white mana available to surprise me with. But I'm looking for Submerge right now. That's my best card by a lot. Oh, once again, we drew Daze right on time. Right, so moving sequentially through my deck here. Preordain first, and then Daze, and then Ponder second, because I see 3 cards in order, and then I see 3 fresh cards. The Ponder, if I have to shuffle, then everything I already saw is mixed in for the Preordain. Okay, this isn't bad. Actually, all of this stuff looks pretty good. So land drop. I could shuffle looking for something off the Ponder, or I could just bolt the Scrib Ranger and keep pushing my damage. And I think I like that better. I could also bolt Knight of the Reliquary just to cheese an attack through, but that doesn't. That does 1 damage, which is a lot worse than the other things I'm trying to do. They also might be afraid to block. Like, if I have another bolt, then blocking with Knight is a huge mistake. And I did just keep a Ponder on top. I think you have to bolt here because the cost of letting this, or you have to block. Yeah, the cost is just too high not to. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana available right now. Any 1-drops they cast are free because of Cradle. Okay, I like that. That is not a super efficient use of mana on this turn where mana is going to matter a lot. A second night, so they can cast that. So there's stuff in their graveyard full of lands, but I kept that relic on top. I can also daze this knight. That's pretty spicy. Yeah, I can daze this knight and Oko the other one. That's better than trying to control them with relic. Take a break. All right, so in there with Delver. Elk that. It can attack Oko down to 1. That's not a huge deal. At least it's not a Knight of the Reliquary. So anything they try to search up with this Once Upon a Time. All right, wasting my green land is pretty decent, I guess. And I can even just turn this relic into an elk. That's probably better than being a relic, honestly. Oh, do they have Abrupt Decay also? Last card in hand. If they do, I wonder what they decay. It probably has to be Delver, though it's really close. Yep, all right. So they are now Hellbent. My Oko, unfortunately, is in dire jeopardy. Exalted doing some work here. Let's draw a Lightning Bolt. That's not Lightning Bolt. So I can clear out the graveyards and draw a fresh card, or I can just turn this into an elk. I think I want to exile all graveyards. And I think I want to use green mana to do it. All right, that's not bad. So they're going to spend another turn fighting this Oko. My life total is pretty high, and I have cantrips in my deck and they don't. So they're ahead on board, but my draws are better, though their draws, they have more bangers in the deck. Like just off the top, GG, lights out. Like Second Knight of the Reliquary or like Thalia. Like that sort of stuff would mess me up here. Yeah, the Exalted was huge. Oko would be at 1 right now if this was a 3-3 and not a 4-4. And this is the pivotal turn here. Like what came off the top? Was it a real spell? It was not. Okay. So now it's time for Sylvan Library to get nasty. Even get to ponder first. Okay, this is great. So Sylvan Library's in. Do I take them off black or take them off quantity? I think I want to take them off black. So I'm drawing Oko next turn. Oko can turn this into an Elk. Oh god, am I getting Green Sun Zenith punished? Alright, they top deck Green Sun Zenith. That was exactly the card that punishes me for taking them off black instead of Cradle. So here comes the Questing Beast, and now I'm pretty much dead. Oh, Leovold. That's even worse. Great. Actually, that's not worse. I would much prefer, and it makes the Sylvan Library pretty embarrassing, but I would much prefer that to Questing Beast in this spot. I would not use this ability. Luckily, this is optional, or else I would have to pay 4 life to keep the card in my hand. Okay, so they have Exalted, so they can keep attacking, but Oko, just having some material around anyway, it means they can't attack with both creatures, so they're attacking for 4 instead of 6. My draw step is Ponder next turn, which is not very good. I might have to Elk their Leovold just to cast my spell, which draws them an extra card. Oh, I hate that. Let's see if they attack me or Oko here. It's got to be Oko, I think. Yeah, they're attacking Oko. That's fine. Absorb. Absorb for me. Maybe I am supposed to Elk Leovold. I think I am. Because I have the Sylvan Library and Ponders in my hand. That unlocks so much of my game plan. And if I Ponder into a Lightning Bolt, then we're just like totally stable with an Oko in play. Yep, there it is. Doesn't feel good, but it is right. And we found Lightning Bolt. Okay, so now we can bolt whichever creature they attack with, and Oko is hanging out to continue dominating. They already used their Dryad Arbor this game, so we don't have to worry about that. If they drew Abrupt Decay, we do have to worry about that. It does not appear to be the case. They can attack with both Elks here. They're both coming at Oko. Alright, so I'll block this Elk and bolt the other. Okay, that took 2 mana off their board from Cradle also. Alright, now let's take over. Sylvan Library's back to life. I have life points to work with. Yes, I would like to use this ability. If I pay 8, I go to 5, but I have Oko to regain that life. Yeah, having Force of Will in hand in this spot is a huge deal. I don't even need to cast this Brainstorm. My hand is already doing what I want it to. I'm glad they used their Dryad Arbor already. I am worried about that card. Or would be if it wasn't gone already. My opponent's also at 7, so it won't take much to win once I turn the corner. And I'm going to turn the corner like next turn when I get this food. Plague Engineer. I can cast that and name Elk. Then they're only 2/2s. That's not what I'm going to Force a Will. I'm okay with this. They can also name Wizard and proactively answer Delvers or Arcanists. Alright, they did name Elk. That's fine. It's still the biggest thing in play. Do you attack? You do, okay. Alright, so Oko goes to 3. There's a Bolt. Put on top. And I think I just have to... Oh, I'm holding Brainstorm. What does that do? Yeah, I'll just put this on top also. Or I could put the Chain Lightning on top. That's probably better. And then I can Elk this and play Dreadhorde with Force of Will still up. And take over with Dreadhorde next turn. Okay. You are a 2/2 Elk. You are a 1/3 Zombie Wizard. And let's party. I'm not going to attack. I want to make a big attack next turn. I think... Alright, yeah, they're conceding. I think if I attacked last turn, I had them dead next turn. That's an interesting call to make. Okay, alright. We are on the draw now, so Daze is quite a bit worse. I do like the security of Force of Will is really nice in these decks that can't really fight back. Yeah, I'm just gonna switch 1 Daze for 1 Force. This matchup is a grind fest though. They're under 10 minutes on their clock. I'm in the low teens. We're like 30 minutes into this match already on the recording. And I don't think any of us like went AFK or went in the tank for an unreasonable amount of time. We just that's just how this matchup goes. That last game brought to you completely by Oko. Alright, Hooting Mandrills hasn't shown up in a hand yet. I am going to keep this. The Force of Will is a bit of a security blanket. No lightning bolts in this hand, unfortunately. There is a Ponder though. Ooh. I don't really want these like lands that are coming up next, but I do want this Submerge quite a bit. I will Force of Will Leovold and basically nothing else. Okay, that turns off Submerge for right now, but I can easily turn it back on in a variety of ways. Oh, I would force Thalia too. I lied. Yeah, we are just sort of speed racing to this Hooting Mandrills. Hold on. If I fetch and submerge, I can hoot right now. Is that too aggressive? I mean, Swords to Plowshares kind of dunks on this play, but they don't have white mana right now, and we just gave them Noble Hierarch on top. And this doesn't fetch basic planes, so they have to expose their white mana to Wasteland if that is what they're doing. Alright, looks like that's what they're doing. My hand sucks, we need a Brainstorm. Brainstorm. Brainstorm, please. Alright, I'll take a Delver. Alright, so Delver plus Fetchland gives us a little build your own scry in the upkeep. Please just attack for 2 with Noble Hierarch. I'm totally okay with that. Or attack for 3 with Noble Hierarch. I'm also okay with that. Bird. Alright, here come the beats. Is it time to draw Rough Tumble? The card is Brainstorm. Yes, reveal the shit out of that card. I could not reveal it any faster than I just did. I'll tuck back these 2 extra lands. Attack. And play the other Delver. Oko's in the wings. That's not the right mana. If their last card in hand is Green Sun Zenith, we could be in some trouble still. If that gets like Questing Beast and just starts ranching. If they're just full of mana creatures, we might be okay. Just attacking for 3. Oh, deck, please Rough Tumble. Alright, I already shuffled. Top card is random. Top card is Lightning Bolt. Ding, 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 ding. So I'm going to attack. If their last card in hand is Abrupt Decay, I think they're going to cast it on one of these Delvers during combat, and then I slam the Oko second main. Here it is. Alright, cool. So they are now Hellbent, and we're about to slam Oko. And we're holding Lightning Bolt, which is basically Vindicate against their deck. Fetching red because I've now cast my last green card that matters. Uh-oh, they drew a spell. Kinda. Finding Night is pretty good. It is a 4/4. Oh, I have Oko. Finding Night barely matters at all. So Rough Tumble is still an insane draw here. They're putting their damage on Oko. You better, or I'm stealing. Alright, not Rough Tumble. So I can elk the knight, or I can elk my food and attack, and then they lose knight to bolt, but I lose Oko to everything. Also, if they just don't block, then they're at 7, and it's still not a 2-turn clock. Yeah, I'm just gonna elk the knight, because I can bolt whatever they attack with in response to the exalted triggers. So Oko is safe this turn regardless. And I can make an elk of my own next turn. Holding this land back for Brainstorm. If they're smart, I guess if they attack with something that isn't knight, I don't have to bolt. Okay, yep. There's the attack. Yeah, I was gonna say if they're smart, they would attack with one of their mana dinguses and draw out the bolt, but the mana dinguses don't actually kill Oko, so attacking with knight was a necessary evil. Did they draw another one? Okay, Dryad Arbor. DGAF. I'm still hoping for Rough Tumble. Okay, Lightning Bolt's insane. Dryad Arbor doesn't even kill Oko on an attack, so we can just hold on to this bolt. I think Chump with Birds of Paradise would have been a fine play this turn. They didn't take it though. If they draw a fetch land, I guess they wouldn't just fetch for no reason. They're hellbent with infinite mana. So that doesn't make any sense. Yep, Oko can go to 1. 1 is the same as 35 on this board state. It doesn't matter. So what would they draw but not put into play? It's either a land or a removal spell. Like, if it was Decay, I think they would have just decayed Oko and attacked my face. So there's a good chance that the card in their hand is Sylvan Library. Or not Sylvan Library, that's in my hand. Swords to Plowshares is what I meant to say. So let's keep the good times rolling here. I think they have to chump both of them this turn. Well, I know they have to chump both of them, but they are probably going to do that anyway. Yeah, you can't just put yourself dead to bolt against Rug Delver. I am going to let Oko die in this combat phase. I'm not going to pick off this Dryad Arbor. Ooh. There's the fetch land. So they didn't plow last turn, and fetch land was one of the things I predicted would be in their hand. Alright, so Oko's just going to die. That is what it is. I have Sylvan Library active. I have them dead on board. I don't want to lose to some random shooter creature. I'll pay for a life to keep this one and put this one on top. And just attack with my creatures. Did you draw a removal spell? Or not? Let's play this game. If they have Scrib Ranger, I'll bolt that. Alright, they did find a removal spell. Good job. So I'm pretty sure there's no way they can win if I just jam these two threats into play, holding up Bolt. Because Dreadhorde Arcanist is another Bolt, and Magmatic Channeler is a 4/4. At least I think it is. I haven't actually looked. 1, 2. Nope. It's a 1/3. But 1 is the same as 4 when I have Lightning Bolt in my hand. Alright, they packed it up. They knew they had no outs. That is a tough matchup, but having a million Lightning Bolts helps. Alright, we are on the draw, and I'm going to keep this hand. This is what I've said a few times. Sometimes you have to keep one-landers. I have no days, no force, just a fair and square one-lander here. If they're a combo deck, they're going to dump on us. If they're not, ooh, basic planes. This could be Snoko, or it could be Death and Taxes of some variety. Death and or Tax. If it's Death and Taxes, I'm genuinely scared, because the only reason they would go Plains Go with no Mother of Runes or Aether Vial is if they have turn 2 Thalia, which my hand is not well suited to play against. Right, I found a second land, so I can play through Thalia. Alright, looks like Death and Taxes to me. Okay, Stoneforge Mystic. Whew, that's a big sigh of relief. Got the Bee Skull. Alright, so I can Preordain and Chain Lightning. I don't want either of these. I have both of those already. I'm looking for lands and removal. I will point this Force of Negation basically at the first option. Yuck. Spirit of the Labyrinth, okay. Alright, so land off the top, and we're actually doing this. Sweet relief. So get a Trop. I probably should have just gotten the third Volk. I was trying to protect it, but no, this hand does need green. Alright, it's fine. So I have Force of Negation. If they have Plow, we'll see if they think to wait till my turn to do it. They did not. I'm going to pitch Oko because they have this Wasteland. And Oko's really far away. I'm playing on low mana anyway. That was a bold attack. Okay, so I'm going to get a little tricksy here. So I'm going to... No, I'm just going to Chain Lightning out of the graveyard. What I was going to do was put the spell from Dreadhorde Arcanist on the stack and then bolt it, but that's in case they like plowed me during combat, thinking I would go for a cantrip. All right, I'm gonna go with the threat here. There's a chance I could have preordained into a land to cast both, but that did not end up happening. Okay, FML. That's a good one. All right, now I need a land. Though a spell lets me flip Delver. Haha, behold my Spell Pierce, sucker. All right, so they can't plow now. That's something. I can't do anything, so that's also something. All right. Go, Delver, go. It's up to you, little buddy. Hooting Mandrills is an insane draw still. And this Channeler is still somehow a 1/3, just permanently 1/3. Though Channeler turning my 1-drops into things I can play around Sanctum Prelate is a huge game. Alright, I can cast Delver. It is a creature. Last I checked. I think I just have to no, because Hooties is one of my best draws. Hooties and Oko are my 2 good draws at this point. So if they tap out for Batterskull, then they can't Rishadan anymore. Though Batterskull is probably worth tapping out for. Yep. Okay, there's Batterskull. So I get to stick the Channeler this turn, and then we'll see what it's made of. Do not reveal Wasteland. Draw. Channeler. And I think I gotta waste their port. And I am gonna keep the pressure up with this Insectile Aberration. Channeler can just trade off with the Germ token next turn, but if they just move to equip, then they have a 6/6. Oh god. Come on. Alright, now I'm dead. I guess I should. No, there's nothing I'm playing to here. Yeah, they just chugga-chugged right over me. Okay, let's diversify those mana costs. So Rough Tumble, Blazing Volley, and Abrade, Ancient Grudge, all great. The rest of these cards all not great. Winter Orb might be good against them, but they're pretty good at playing low mana. Like, if they have Aether Vial and I draw Winter Orb, I'm going to be embarrassed. Force of Negation's real bad. Spell Pierce, not very good. I don't need all 4 forces. I do like keeping a large number in, though. And since I'm on the play, I'll lean on Daze a little harder. What do I think about this? They might have Graveyard Hate. If so, Hootie's pretty bad. No, I like where this is. All right, let's do it. Oh, do I have time to change it? I actually like 3 and 3 with Force and Daze. Daze is really good in the early turns, but they have so many basic lands that it just they'll eventually get ahead of it. And a lot of the times it does come down to like that Batterskull turn last game, where if I just had Force of Will, they lose. But I didn't. So I lost instead. This is very similar to the Maverick matchup that we played last round. Like a lot of the same rules and heuristics apply. Alright, I'm going to keep this hand. I hope that Ponder finds another land, but we do have Daze and Arcanist. The interesting debate here would be what I do if they have Aether Vial. Because Dazing an Aether Vial feels amazing, but setting back my Arcanist for a turn feels bad. I have to shuffle this. I'm looking for lands and only lands. Yeah, if they just waste me, I'm fucked. Okay. Alright, there's exactly what I was talking about. I think this is so hard. I guess I just daze, probably. Like, letting them have it is a choice I could make. I don't know if it's a good one. All right, because of the way my hand looks, I am going to let them have this, though I'm not happy about it. Like, I'd rather save this Force of Will for the Swords to Plowshares if they have it, because I want to start chugging with the Arcanist. All right, Dazing Thalia is an easy choice. Yeah, so if I ponder into a way to destroy Aether Vial, we're going to be Fonzie. Delver, Library, Oko. I could play Delver this turn, though I can see that it's not going to flip. So this Oko, I could also play Sylvan Library this turn and just start pulling way ahead. I'm going to do that. Because you can afford to pump some life into a Sylvan Library against Death and Taxes. Oh, they didn't even have a 1-drop. That's pretty lucky. Luminarch Aspirant. That card's pretty good. It does die to Lightning Bolt, though. Yeah, that's the Phil Gallagher special. I mean, I can't respond. Go ahead. Spirit of the Labyrinth. Okay, so I have to stop in my upkeep to bolt this thing. Oh, nope, I don't have red mana. FML. Okay, so I can't library this turn. I can destroy all their shit, though. Destroy you. Destroy you. I believe that wasting port is more important to me than wasting silent clearing, because they do have the vial. Like, I don't think trying to screw them on like a mana producer when they have this mana producer. Oh, they left it on 2. That's interesting. Why would they leave it on 2? Thalia. Oko is the top card of my deck. And if it was another spirit, it would be in play already. Yeah, I'm just gonna pay 4 to keep pay 8 to keep all of these. I'm gonna brainstorm, or I could just Oko. I guess if I put Oko on the stack, they can put in Revoker in response. What does that do that I care about? No, I'm gonna hold my Oko and just get my brains storming here. Alright, so Volcanic Island and Daze can probably go back. Alright, so I put back Vulcan Daze. Then I can fetch and brainstorm again. I don't want to run Delver into Thalia. Though I think Thalia would be in play if they had it. Maybe they just misclicked. I don't know. That was a weird sequence all around. So put back Polluted Delta and Brainstorm. Oh wait, Polluted Delta and Chain Lightning go back. All right, so I'll have double Delver to flip next turn. I think I like that better than Arcanist. All right, Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, that makes some sense. I'm glad I didn't attack with Delver. And they got Jete. All right, Chain Lightning can clean up the Stoneforge Mystic. The Delvers can get raunchy. Reveal, yes. All right, let's find Ancient Grudge and just also shut down this. I don't need any of this shit. So if I Oko the Vial, that actually looks really good. So if I Oko the Vial, they have to respond to that, and then I can Chain Lightning, which kills Stoneforge Mystic and Aether. I can Chain Lightning before combat, then they're forced to react. All right, so they're gonna put in. There's the Batter Skull. All right, and then do they also have Flicker Wisp for Stoneforge Mystic? They have Skyclave Aspirant targeting Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay. All right. So now what happens? I can Chain Lightning the Aspirant, which gives me a 2/2 creature. A 2/2 Illusion. I know they have Jete in hand. I have Force of Will. So if they... Yeah, I'm just going to kill the Aspirant. That gives me a 2/2. So now I'm set up to block. Like, I'm the control deck now. They have this Jete in hand. They're down to 2 mana sources. I have a Wasteland and Force of Will and Sylvan Library and Oko. What does this do? That kills Oko. So I am going to force that. All right, so everything's coming at Oko. If I block Aether Vial, Oko goes to 1, which is a fine place for it to be. And it removes the Aether Vial from play. Gotta work through these lands on top of my deck. I'll put all these back. I don't need that Force of Will. I'm not going to have 2 cards in my hand for a while. All right, I'm going to turn Batterskull into an Elk, then it falls off the Germ dies. I'm going to waste their extra card here. Play Arcanist. And I'm going to pass. And then I should be able to take over pretty easily next turn. Like Flicker Wisp resetting Batterskull is scary, but they're really far away from doing that. All right, that I don't care about for a long time. Batterskull's gonna attack here. And I'm gonna trade off Delver for it. And now we got a fresh look at a pile of cards. Dreadhorde Arcanist has Chain Lightning to eat. Ooh, found Rough Tumble also. I'll put that on top, and I'll pay 4 to keep Preordain. So do I care about Stoneforge Mystic as a card in play? I'm not sure. Let's Preordain and find out. Okay, so I think the answer to that is no. Yeah, so I'm going to Preordain with this Arcanist instead of Chain Lightning. Like, I think there will be better things to remove in the future. And we already have the Mystic covered with Rough Tumble. I could have elked up my Illusion, but I think that setting up an additional elk next turn, instead of getting 1 extra power on the board this turn, getting 3 extra power on the board for the rest of the game is probably better. Alright, so they're dead. I'm just gonna Rough Tumble and mash. Yes, reveal Ponder. Top. I lose my Illusion by doing this, but they lose everything. They're gonna have a rough time. Alright, and they just scoop to that. Probably the right choice. Alright, game 3. So, what changes? I don't think anything. I'm already split on Days and Force of Will, which is like the biggest back and forth on numbers that you can reasonably mess around with in this matchup. And I mean, that's it. Like, that's all I would change, and I'm not going to change it. So my deck's back in. This hand's pretty good. All right, well, we have to Lightning Bolt that, or else we never get to Lightning Bolt anything. It's a forced play, as they call it. Hopefully they just tap out for Thalia next turn, instead of like wasting me and casting Aether Vial. Though I think if they had Vial, they would have done that first. Aspirant. Is that something I daze? So it's a 2/2 right now, it's a 3/3 next turn, and then I can never kill it. And they have Rashad Important play. I'm gonna let that ride and see what happens. I might just lose to this if I don't find a Lightning Bolt like quickly. I mean, there's a Lightning Bolt in my graveyard, and I have Dreadhorde Arcanist in my hand, so let's start there, I guess. And if this doesn't work, if they do have the plow, then I have a Ponder to try to find a bolt before this takes over next turn. Alright, they had the plow. Shit. And the Wasteland. Alright, they have it all, team. So this is going to come down to finding Lightning Bolt literally right now. Like one of the top 4 cards in my deck needs to be Lightning Bolt. Ooh, the fact that we got to our upkeep lets me see extra cards. So I can brainstorm here for just like a little extra. Oh. Whew. What a relief. Okay, so I can't play Wasteland this turn anyway. But I am going to want it in the future. Look at their mana right now. So I want Daze. I actually just want all this stuff, but I can't keep it all because I have to fetch. I'll put back one of the Ponders, and I guess maybe I just do put back the Wasteland. I don't know, that feels like it sucks. It does suck, but it is the worst card in this hand. Oh, I'm about to draw it. We're in my upkeep. So cool. I do get to keep one of these. All right, keep the Wasteland. I could, yeah, I'm going to Ponder now. Magmatic Channeler, Oko, Ponder. These cards are all pretty good. Though they have Wasteland and Port, so that makes Oko pretty unreliable. Alright, I don't think there's a punish if I wait until combat on their turn, like hide what I'm up to. Alright, now we go. If they play like Mighty Leap or something, I deserve to lose. Alright, so are they just going to shred up my mana now, or do they actually have a follow-up? Okay, they had a follow-up, but I can Wasteland their white source if they don't have a Plains to follow up here. Okay, another Caracas and a Mom. Alright, so I can Wasteland their Caracas and play my Channeler, which is a 4/4. Check the math on that one. Oh, that wasn't Channeler. Channeler was not in my hand. Whoops. Oh, did I shuffle since then? Where'd my Channeler go? Alright, that was a little awkward. Okay, so I can daze basically everything they do the rest of the game. And I can get this, oh wait, no, they have fucking Batterskull. The plane's off the top, nice draw. All right, I am losing to Batterskull instead. Okay, we're actually in a lot of trouble right now. This Mother of Runes plus Batterskull sucks. So I need to find pretty much exactly Ancient Grudge to kill Batterskull. Like I can't find removal for the creatures because all their creatures kill me. Or all their creatures have protection. Yeah, them drawing planes off the top was some asshole shit. Double dazing this is not good, because then I can't cast Ancient Grudge even if I draw it. Okay, so we did what we could, and they from Hellbent or went to Hellbent to find exactly what they needed. There's only so much you can do about all that. All right, I will take the Arcanist because it's a cantrip. It also saves me 1 damage from the Stoneforge Mystic. Like I get to fire off an extra Ponder next turn, looking for Ancient Grudge. And blocking Stoneforge Mystic is actually a big deal because that's a whole turn off the clock. Alright, first Bonder. Show me Ancient Grudge. None of those are Ancient Grudge. Oh, baby, baby. And they don't have 3 mana to bounce it. Are you saying there's a chance? So if I attack, I want to ponder. Maybe I wanted to preordain here. I need to find something meatier to get onto the board. Something like Oko, Thief of Crowns. So they can just block with Stoneforge here. Or not. That's cool too. Alright. We found the card we needed. Cantrip in a deck full of one-ofs. You gotta love it. And I can daze something. I can't daze 2 things. Oh, I could daze 2 things. I have 4 lands in play. Never mind. I take it all back. I'm incapable of counting or doing anything right. In case you haven't ever watched my videos before, that is a true statement. So now that I picked up this land with daze, I get to cast Brainstorm for value. Though I still think Brainstorm is worse than Preordain in this spot. Because my whole hand is actually good. Yeah, no, I am going to Ponder because I have a fetch land. I'll Preordain when my fetch land's gone. Force of Will? Hell yeah. So now I have Force backup in addition to the Daze, if Daze somehow isn't good enough. I think now the trick is going to be getting this game over with in 6 minutes. Nope. Daze in these low resource games, so good. As embarrassing as Daze is against not Aether Vial starts, it's insane against non-Aether Vial starts. Alright, so ooh, I could steal their mom. I need to be playing faster than I am. Alright, so I'm gonna Brainstorm first. Put back all these extra lands. Play this land, fetch. Oh, I'm at 2, huh? That's not very much. So I'm gonna Lightning Bolt Mother of Runes here. And if they give it protection from red, then I can steal it with Oko. And I have a Braid for the Stoneforge Mystic. And Force of Will for whatever is left behind. Alright, we just have to survive this turn, and then I can go up to 5 life with Oko. Alright, so we know they're Hellbent. That should be that. Oh, they get to draw a card with Silent Clearing. It's not quite that. That's fine. I'm gonna make food first. I'm gonna ponder because I'm looking for land, like green land specifically. All right, now it's just going through the motions. 5 minutes is plenty of time to get this done. I'm about to have an elk. I'd really like to draw a straight up tropical island. Like, not even fetch land, just give me actual tropical island. Preordain is the one I want here. Bottom all of those. Yep, this is great. Still clutching onto this force of will at 2 life, which is basically 1,000 life, and that's the game. All right, bread and butter 4-1 with the bread and butter deck of Legacy Rug Delver. Played a lot of really great matches this round. 2 mirrors, 2 bad matchups, quote unquote. Magmatic Channeler only came up once, but it was pretty good when it did. Like that one time I was able to discard a card and like turn a dead wasteland into a Delver. That was pretty good. Other than that, we didn't really get to see it flex. But it's definitely worth testing. It is probably better than Tarmogoyf. Though I do feel like there's too much tension in the graveyard. Like this actively wants things in the graveyard. This and this are actively sucking things out of the graveyard. And I don't know. Remember that one time where we had like a turn 15 1/3 channeler? Like even that late in the game, it wasn't a 4/4. But that was great. I hope you learned a lot. Thanks for watching. Sound off in the comments if you want to talk about any plays. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.